about to begin the Community Zoning Information Meeting. Thank you for attending the Community Zoning and Information Meeting today, May 5th, 2025. All right, we got a couple of house rules. Please refrain from talking unless you are speaking. Please be respectful. Please keep your questions and comments relevant to the topic of tonight's meeting. Please wait for the presenter to finish before asking any questions or stating your comment. And any follow-up comments can be emailed to the planning email address. Now, this meeting is for applicants and residents to have an open-ended conversation about the proposed projects. So again, it'll be opportunity for the applicants and the residents to be able to speak and ask questions. Some important dates. The public participation plan report is due June 9th, 2025. The Planning Commission hearing for your case will be due June 18th, and Mayor and Council public hearing will be due July 8th. Here we have an example of our public participation plan report. So on the right side of the screen, you'll see Form E. That form is due when you have completed your public participation meeting. So again, that's the meeting that you would host on your own. You should have already received your addresses. If you haven't, we'll make sure you get those addresses so you can start to send those notices out. Again, note that that report is due June 9th. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see an example of what the postcard looks like. I know it is quite small, but if you do need an example, we're happy to email that to you. So you're currently on cycle 6. Again, it's May 5th, so we're here at the CZIM meeting. Again, that public notification and the sign posting, you'll pick up that sign here at City Hall and we'll send you an email to notify you when your sign is ready. But the deadline for that sign to be posted on your property is May 27th. And then there's going to be a sign affidavit that'll be in your pack and your application that you'll have to get notarized and submitted to us by that deadline. We already spoke about the public notification or the public report. Again, that is due June 9th, Planning Commission, June 18th, and again, Mayor and Council, July 8th. All right, the first case we have is Z25-015, 4885 Dillon Road. Is the applicant up here? Alrighty, so hopefully they'll show up in the time allowed for this meeting, but we're gonna just mark them. 4885 Delaney Road. Yeah.
That's me, 4880 Delano Road.
Oh, okay.
She said it was a different address that you read off.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Nia Boswell, and I'm currently looking to, this is a rezoning request from AG to R4A, which is basically trying to build 5 single-family homes in this community, which falls in line with the city's 2021 future development plan.
Alrighty, is that all that you have to present on that case?
Yes.
Alrighty, we're gonna open the meeting up to residents. If you have any questions, please feel free to step to the podium and address the applicant. Alrighty, seeing no questions. Staff, do you have any questions for the applicant? If so, please step to the mic. Okay, I have a question. For your property, for the potential subdivision, is it going to be sewer or septic?
It's sewer.
Sewer, okay, and you've already talked to Public Works and the...
Yes, and it's already
Fulton County?
on, there's already a sewer system in place for that.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next applicant we have is Z25-016. The address is 6765 Dagenhart Road. The applicant is Nicole Hunter, requesting a rezone from AG1 to R3A to develop 6 single-family homes on 6.6 acres located in District 6.
Yes, my name is Vance Jones. iDesign Solutions, LLC. I'm assisting Ms. Hunter, the applicant, in rezoning. We're just requesting to rezone our odd-shaped property of 6.6 acres into individuals R2A. It abuts CPU and R3, so we're hoping that we can get it rezoned so that we might be able to maximize the use of the property that we have to bring some families into the neighborhood. Single family residence.
Thank you. Do I have any residents who might have questions or concerns? Please step to the podium.
Can you tell me what your estimated square footage of the homes are going to be?
Between 3 and 5,000 square feet.
Okay, each home has.
It possibly varies because each lot is different, and the buildable area is varying on each lot. But the largest home that would be built is about 5,000 square feet, and that's on. If you see the one that has an access road on Dagenhart, that's the largest lot on the far left, if you're looking at it.
Okay, so the driveways for the other ones, you're going to.
It's an access road on Camp Valley Road, and at the top, we're gonna
Okay.
put a private drive for the two that's next to the one that I just pointed out, and the other three will be driveways entering on Camp Valley Road. That's another street. It's like
Okay.
it's intersecting streets. So like I got two street fronts.
Okay. Yeah, I was concerned about the private drive. That's already there, or are you building the private drive?
Yeah, it's one already there, but we're gonna put one on our property, so we don't have to do a easement for the next door neighbor. That I think is already a shared situation.
Okay. And these are on the sewer system, or you're going to try to put septic tanks?
I'm gonna put sewer on Dagenhart. Like I was mentioning, if you see the one on the far left, directly next to that, it's a subdivision, and the sewer line runs to Dagenhart at the bottom right there. So we're gonna take it on around up that access road.
Okay. You didn't have any examples of facades or maybe the description we're doing?
Not yet. Nah, we at the very beginning, which is getting it rezoned. But it's not gonna be any cheap house. Like, it's not possible for us to do that. So that's why the homes would be between 3,000 and 5,000 square feet.
Okay, so you're possibly expecting multiple sides, masonry, brick, stucco,
We'll be in
stone.
compliance with all of the overlay. It's an overlay for Old National.
Well, that's true, but I didn't know if you had some conceptuals that,
No, not at this moment.
okay, but you will have those before,
Yeah,
okay,
yes.
all right,
We're
And-
at the land right now. We're not at the.
okay, all right. And
If
your,
we can't get the land done, it's, you know, I mean, we got ideas. We're not trying to go outside of we're not trying to be not in compliance with the overlay. The overlay has specific restrictions on, like you
no,
mentioned,
I understand,
color,
I understand that, but
facade materials.
when you're looking
things of
at
that nature.
someone, they're gonna wanna know conceptually, okay, what might these homes look like, you know, and it's, okay,
And none too crazy.
all right. And your participation meeting is when and where?
That would be handled by Ms. Hunter. It'll be sent out to you. I'll make sure, get your information.
Okay, All right, thank you.
Thank you. Do I have any other residents? Staff?
Yes, will any of the properties have access to the public streets, or will they all have access to just that private
No,
drive?
No, that public street is Camp Valley Road. See those three right there? They're facing Camp Valley Road. Those are public streets. And the other one on the far left is a public street. That's Dagenhart, down at the bottom.
But Dagenhart will only be accessed through that 35 feet access point, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other two will be accessed off the private drive?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So just to be clear, those two off the private drive access won't have access to a public street. It'll just be that private drive that'll give them access.
Yeah, correct. Because it's two properties that sit in front of them on Camp Valley. So it's like it's odd shape. It would be no way to.
Alrighty, does staff have any additional questions? Thank you. The next case we have is Z25-017, 0 Camilton Road is the address. We have Hakeem Hewlett. Oh, he's not here. Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a representative? Perfect.
This one? My name is Maisha Rashad. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. So I'm looking at the agenda, and it is 0 Campbellton Road. We actually have two applications pending. The first one is an amendment to an application that we submitted back in 2024. And the amendment just adds an additional 8 units. I don't think we're looking at our site plan, but it adds an additional 8 units above a commercial space. So we're seeking to add that to our initial request. And then the one that's on the calendar is a new request for the parcel that's immediately next. There it is right there. It's 12.5 acres to develop about 58 for sale units. That's it. Okay. I didn't have a presentation other than this. Oh, okay. Yeah, those are the two slides. This is the for sale. I believe you probably don't have the other one because it's an amendment to a application that's already pending. So this is the new application, and that's the for sale parcel.
Thank you. If we have any residents in the audience that would like to ask a question or concern, please step to the podium. Seeing none, staff? Okay, I do have a clarifying question. I know you mentioned in your other application it was 0 Camilton Circle. So this one is 0 Camilton Road, or are they both circle?
They're both 0 Campbellton Road. So if we were looking at, if this zoomed back a little bit, the parcel is immediately right next to it on the right-hand side. Like if we were looking at the whole thing, it's just right next to it. So they're all it'll be just one development. And one side will be for sale, and that's the one that's before you. And then the other one will be for rent units.
Thank you. And then can you summarize the whole development as a whole in terms of the amount of units you plan on having for townhomes and single family?
So for rent units, there should be, well, after the amendment, initially it was 314. For rent units, we're adding 8, so that's 322. And then for the for sale piece, we will have approximately 58, give or take, for sale homes. So we initially on our first request, we met with the neighbors and they wanted to see for sale units. So our clients went back and purchased this piece, and hopefully this is what they wanted, but we purchased this piece to now offer for sale and for rent.
Thank you. And then can you speak to the amenities? Will this piece of parcel also have access to the amenities for the whole development?
Now that I don't know. I can get back to you on that. They haven't really, I mean, we're pretty new on the for sale piece. I guess that is something that could be added. They haven't talked about that. I think the townhomes will have their own amenities. But, I mean, you know, if that's something that they want, I mean, I think they would be willing to do that. But initially, our thoughts were this would be a separate parcel. They are right next door, but it's going to be its own little community.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any additional questions for staff?
Also, I wanted to mention that we are having our public participation meeting on it's May 22nd at Renaissance Church of Christ at 6 p.m., in case anyone does have additional questions.
Thank you. You said, I just wanted to clarify something to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. You said to offer for sale and for rent. You meant that this site will be for sale and the other site will be for rent, not that this site will be for sale and for rent. Is
Yes,
that correct?
that's correct. I'm sorry. Yes, this site will be just for sale.
All right, thank you. Can you repeat your public participation meeting again for me?
Our public participation meeting is May 22nd at 6 p.m. at Renaissance Church of Christ. It's 3675 Butner Road. All right.
Thank you. The next case we have is Z25-018, CV25-001. The address is 0 West Road. Battle Laws requesting a rezone from AG1 to NUP with one concurrent variance to grade and replant in the zoning buffers.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Josh Mahoney. I'm an attorney at Battle Law PC at 3562 Habersham at North Lake in Tucker, Georgia. Here this evening on behalf of the applicant. I did send in a presentation. If we could show that. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. We can take a look at where this property is in the city. So I've got it highlighted here. The property is located just west of Old National and just north of Jonesboro Road, so really tucked down in the southeastern corner of the city. And then I've got it highlighted on the next slide so you can see the zoning in the area, and you'll see that there's a pretty diverse set of zoning districts down here in the city. We've got ATR, R5, R5A, R3, AG1, and MIX. So all that to say, there's a good mixture of residential zonings in the area. So our request to NUP should fit in just fine, given that we are also looking to do residential development. This does match up with the comprehensive plan. The NUP district is supported by it, so we're feeling good about that one. On the next slide, we could take a look at the site plan. And we've got 35 homes here with a mixture. They kind of vary in size. The smallest home will be 1,300 square feet, and the largest home will be 2,200 square feet. And we've got the larger homes situated on the outside of the development with the smaller homes on the inside. You'll see we've got in the center there a dog park, as well as two kind of fire pit picnic areas to the north. You'll also notice that the northern half of this property is left undeveloped. That's because there is a stream that does traverse this property. We're not going to do any development there besides adding the trail that you see, where folks in this neighborhood will be able to, exit their house, get on the sidewalk, get on the trail, and head into the nature and kind of enjoy themselves out there. And before we jump there, we do have 2 points of entry. I want to point out one directly off of West Road on the south, and then another one that exits east onto, I think it's pronounced Lake Zhang Drive. So that'll connect in there, and folks will be able to get out. Two ways. Should there be a blockage on one, they could use the other. And then we do have some elevations that we can run through quickly of both the smaller and larger homes. So these ones are going to be on the smaller side. These ones will range in size from 1,300 to 1,700 square feet. And then on the next slide, the larger ones, I think they start at 1,700 and go up to 2,200 square feet. Right now, my client's telling me that they're speculating. Just keep in mind the market is subject to change, but they're talking about starting $450,000 for these houses. And that should be all I have for you. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Do we have anyone in the audience that wants to ask any questions or express any concerns?
Hey, Josh, I want to
Hey, Mr. Venable.
repeat some of, you said the price range was
They're speculating right
Speculating.
now, starting 450.
four, okay. Can you tell me how many approximate acres this development is?
I'd have to refresh my memory. I think it's around the 16 acre mark, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay. I was kind of perplexed because the description here on this one doesn't match up to what you just said. And so it's nothing to do with cottage homes.
So my client was calling the smaller homes cottage homes. There was a time when they were throwing around the 600 square foot number, so it would really be much closer to a true cottage home. But I was informed, I think yesterday, earlier today, that the smallest home is going to be 1,300 square feet.
Okay.
I would argue that really isn't a cottage home, but that's what they were.
Okay, no, that's
calling,
just,
yeah.
yeah, that's not the argument. I'm just reading something and it didn't match up to what you just
gotcha.
described. Okay. So you only have one variance,
That's right. Yeah.
and
So-
that is,
To allow for grading and replanting in a buffer.
okay, now how does that affect any water flow?
I suppose in theory, it might cause a difference, but really what we're looking to do is just grade the land so that it's flatter and replant there, so we'll have the natural barrier between the impervious and the stream. It shouldn't create a major impact. Now, take that with a grain of salt. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a hydrologist, but my understanding is that it should be pretty much the same.
Okay, so there's truly not a hardship. This is only for aesthetics.
No, there's a hardship. The stream buffer extends over more than half of the property. So in order to make use of it, we do have to allow for some grading.
Okay, so what would happen if you left it the way it is?
So I'd have to go with my engineer to confirm, but my understanding would be that it would be a worse situation for the stream.
Okay. Can you explain why you selected the NUP zoning?
I think that my client was looking at that. It allowed for some flexibility, similar to the CUP zoning, but it's more geared towards lighter residential use. So we felt that, given the number of homes, it made the most sense. But also allowed the flexibility, some flexibility that we needed.
Okay, so that couldn't have been accomplished by a regular R4 or,
I don't think so. I haven't seen an R4 plan.
okay. All right. Okay, that's what I got for now.
Thank you, Mr. Venable.
All right. Do you have any more questions or concerns from residents? Staff?
So just to be clear, you're not seeking to reduce the size of the homes, they're just gonna be,
No,
and no cottage homes?
1,300 square foot is the smallest.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it a cottage home. And before I forget, our community meeting is scheduled for June 5th, 6 p.m. at Destination South Fulton. That's 6385 Old National Highway. If anyone wants any more information, feel free to come on out and we'll have another meeting then.
Thank you. Next application is for Z25-020. The application address is 6200 and 7000 Carita Road and 5675 Dawson Road. Battle Law is requesting to rezone from AG1 to R2A. I'm sorry, is looking to rezone from AG1 and R2A to CUP to construct a subdivision of 293 single-family detached homes on 130.19 acres.
So, good evening again. Josh Mahoney for the applicant. So we are requesting a rezoning on this one from AG1 and R2A to CUP. Similar to my last presentation, I want to go over just the highlights with you. So on our first slide, we've got the property highlighted in the area here. It fronts on Coweta and Dodson Road, north of Campbellton Fairburn Road. And I've got it highlighted here because it's made up of a couple of parcels, so you can kind of get an idea where this is. And then again, on the next slide, we've got the zoning. We've got, this one has kind of split zoned with the R2A and AG1. We do have CUP in the area, so we're thinking that the rezone to CUP makes sense given that it's already there. Again, CUP does match up with the comp plan. So here we've got our site plan, and you can see it's kind of split in two. We've got development on the south side, and then we've got a lake that kind of cuts off the majority of the development with that on the east. However, we've connected these two sides with some trails that the residents will be able to use to access either side of the property. So they'll be able to leave their home, get on a sidewalk, get on a walking trail, and traverse to either side of the property. We do have, let me see here. Right, so let's go ahead and jump to the next slide and we can take a look at the amenities. It's a little hard to see here. So on the left, I tried my best to highlight a centralized amenity area. And this amenity area has a pool, a pickleball court, fire pit, and you can see that walking trail. One of the walking trails I mentioned links right up into this amenity area, so folks will be able to access this without having to get in their car. They can just walk and enjoy these amenities. And then on the right side, I've got the southern portion of the trail and open space that will connect the east side of the property to the west side of the property. And then on the next slide, we've got even more trails and open space, as well as a pocket park to show you. There we go. So on the kind of southwestern side, you can see that trail continues on and kind of curves through this open green space that we have, and then tucked in there between some of the homes, we've got that pocket park. Again, all of it's accessible via trail and sidewalk in the community. Given that this is a larger development, we do have several points of access. I think I counted 4, 2 on Coweta Road and 2 on Dodson Road. And then I think that's all I've got for you this evening on this one. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to help.
Thank you. We're going to open it up to questions from residents. If you have any questions, please come to the podium. Seeing none, staff, do you have any questions or concerns? I do have a quick question in terms of your amenities. Can you speak to the parking that'll be available for residents who do choose to drive to those amenities?
Sure, if you could switch back to the slide where I've zoomed in on the center amenity, you can see off the cul-de-sac there are a couple spots there. However, it's expected that most residents will access via the walking trail.
Thank you. Staff, any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. Alrighty, the next case we have is Z25-014. The address is 4220, 4320 Union Road, 0 Union Road, and then Union Road rear. Templar Development and Battle Laws requesting to rezone sub C to CUP to develop 121 single-family detached homes on 47.67 acres.
Good evening. Me one more time. I promise this is the last one. Josh Mahoney for the applicant. Uh, I kept my presentations consistent for you all this evening, so we're gonna go through it one more time. So on our first slide, we have the area map where I've got the property highlighted. This one is off of Union Road, just north of where Union Road meets Old Fairburn Road. And if you're from the area, this would be across from Hennessy Circle. So on the next slide, we've got the zoning map. Again, we've got it highlighted. You can see that the property right now is zoned sub C. However, we're looking to rezone to CUP, and right across the street, we've got our CUP zoning there as well. So again, everything is remaining consistent, just like the other two. And then our next slide, we've got our site plan. So you can see that the entrance here would be across, I pointed out Hennessy Circle because the entrance here will be right across with that. So you won't have any weird traffic happening with the offset entrances. You'll have those lined up, and it'll be working really nicely. We have here a stream that does, again, another stream traverses this property, and you can see that it cuts diagonally across the property. We are meeting all of our buffer standards for that stream, so nothing happening there. And then zooming in on the next slide, you can start taking a look at some of the amenities that we have. This hot lot is situated towards the rear, in the northeast portion of the property. And then the dog park is more centralized, where folks will be able, again, to access all these amenities via sidewalk, to walk their dog out there and take their kids to play. And then that's all I got for you. If anyone has any questions, again, here to help.
Thank you. Do you have any questions or concerns from the residents? Do you have any questions from staff? Seeing none, thank you. The next thing we have on the agenda is the text amendment. A text amendment by the City of South Fulton to allow assembly of banquet halls or event centers as an accessory use at golf courses with or without a country club. Alrighty, do we have any questions from the residents? Seeing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda. Is Rothman here? Alrighty, the next thing on the agenda is,
Yeah, I just wanted to address what, it's a Southwest Community Center, May 21st, for that public interest meeting. If you want to write that down, I just wanted to go on record saying what date and time that was.
definitely, thank you. I'm not for sure. Have you sent out the notices?
No, not yet.
Okay, that's just the date.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for noting that. We have, well, before I go to that one, I'm gonna call to see if we have the applicant for 7480 and 0 Jones Road. Is the applicant here for that? Alrighty. That was the one. Alrighty, we'll move to our public participation report. Again, this is just going over what we spoke about earlier and getting that Form E completed by the deadline of June 9th. Again, an example for the postcard is on the PowerPoint, but if you need an additional example, please feel free to email us. If the applicants want to take this opportunity right now to again mention where their public participation will be and the date, please feel free to do so. Alrighty. Again, important dates, that public participation, very important. It is due June 9th. Planning Commission hearing will be June 18th. Mayor and Council for the public hearing will be July 8th. Again, all these meetings are required, and of course, the deadlines are also required to be met. Thank you again for attending. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, again, last call for any applicants who were not able to present their case. Are you one of the applicants?
I am an applicant. Are you Hillary? I am Hillary.
Okay, perfect.
I'm with Green Communities.
Alright, so we're just gonna allow Grand Communities to present their project. Give me 1 second to go to that slide. Alrighty, we have the applicant here with us, Z 25-019, CDP 25-006 for 7480 Jones Road and 0 South Fulton Parkway. Grand Communities and Steve Rothman is requesting a rezone from AG1 to CUP to develop 169 detached single-family homes and 160 attached dwellings on 115.69 acres. The applicant is also seeking to rezone from AG1 to CUP and a future land use amendment for village mixed use to suburban neighborhood 1.
That is correct. So first and foremost, I apologize for my tardiness. So as previously mentioned, I'm here with Grand Communities. My name is Hillary Lafine. I'm a Planning and Entitlements Manager in our Atlanta division. And I'm really just here, if anybody has any specific questions about the development, we are asking for two things. One would be the live work amendment to the residential and then for the rezoning from the AG1 to the CUP. We are proposing two different products here on the site. So one would be, again, our single-family product. The home sites would be a minimum of 7,500 square feet with a minimum of 60 feet wide. And you can see those kind of on the western or to the left of the site plan as you look at it. And then on the east side, or kind of that northeast side over there on the right, would be what we are proposing as our townhomes. So these are fee simple lots. The residents would own their lots. They are not for rent. So these would be owned by the homeowner. And we do have about 45% open space on the site. And with that, I'll just open it up to any questions.
Thank you. Do I have anyone from the residents or from the audience that would like to come to the mic?
All right, so I get the question I asked for this property right here. Where exactly on South Fulton and Jones Road in the land is located at? I live right off on Jones. And I just want to know where it's located at, and will it, hopefully, I don't want it to be something that is going to come in and congest, because we do have a lot of residential property over there in South Fulton and Jones Road, South Fulton Parkway. And personally, I just don't really see the need for to develop another big subdivision, especially when you put some townhomes on there. And my theory is that it would congest that area a little bit more. It took us almost 5 years to get a traffic light over there. If I'm thinking where you're gonna put it at, like close by Langston Hughes High School, that's it. Yeah, that's Hall Road and etc. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm just here to listen and see what exactly gonna be. I don't have an issue, but I just want to make sure that it makes sense and that it won't make traveling a hazard for the residents already there.
And it's South Fulton's below us, Jones Road is at the top, Cedar Road is down to the left, where I guess Jones dead ends down there almost, it comes in. So you're right, traffic, that's an issue, and, we can't solve all the traffic problems, but what we can do, and would like to engage in discussions with the community, is contribute to traffic controls, doing what we can in order to manage the traffic of it. If there's a contribution to make towards a dedicated turn lane to help that intersection, it may need studies at that intersection. I agree, it's got that. Right now, on the long-range comprehensive plan, this is designated, Mr. Williams, isn't it? It's like village mixed use or work live and so we're actually taking it down in intensity by going to this residential zoning, because right now, it's village mixed use. So that's got a mix of uses like commercial and residential, and we're trying to go down on the long-range plan to suburban one. So one can look at it as we're trying to lower the intensity, but that doesn't help the traffic. So we're happy to engage with the community, and if you, after this meeting or whatever, that'd be a great way to start that process. All right, thank you.
Any more questions from the audience? I did have a question. Could you break down the square footage of the townhomes and the single-family detached dwellings? And also, did you discuss any amenities that will be on the site? Sorry if I missed it.
Okay, the square footage, the single family, it ranges, but the smallest would be 1,200 detached. The townhomes would be 1,550 minimum heated.
I'm sorry, Ms. Roth, on that point, would those be 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 2-car garage, or 1-car garage?
Do you know, Hillary?
For the
offhand?
single family or for the attached town?
The attached townhomes.
Stand up here with you, Steve. For the attached townhomes, it is a 2-bedroom product.
And a 2-car garage or a 1?
So, there's 2 different models with this. So the way that we have them is the interior townhomes are all 1-car garage, and the exterior townhomes are 2-car garages. So if it's in a configuration of 4, you would have 2 units that have 2, and then 2 units that just have the single garage.
And the amenity package, on our plan, we don't have a specific, like this clubhouse with this pool, that's open for discussion. We have a large area, the amenities could go there, but we didn't pick a cabana and pool, and then we thought as we go through the process, we'd have discussions. And there's also, I call them tot lots, but dog place, whatever, interspersed throughout. But then there's one major amenities area that we've laid out.
And going back to the site plan, will there be 2 access points all off of South Fulton Parkway, or will there be one off of Jones Road as well?
So right now in the existing site plan, we just have it connecting into Jones Road. So
Okay.
it'll be, you can go out Jones Road in either direction. So we do not have a connection onto South Fulton Parkway at this time.
That'd be hard work to get a connection onto South Fulton, because it's a limited access highway, and so that would take lobbyists and time.
Were you going to have 300-something units going off of 300 units all accessing one ingress egress?
Well, it's 2 driveways, but 1 roadway. We're not accessing onto South Fulton, but we've got the 2 driveways, yeah.
And then lastly, do you have any renderings or elevations of how the single-family detached or the attached homes will look?
We do not.
Okay.
We anticipate showing them with input as we go along, and if the staff is interested in that, I'd be happy to share it, but we're just sort of shooting in the dark for now, and I thought we'd do that as we get down the road. But let me know if it would be helpful for y'all to see some ideas earlier.
Absolutely, it will be.
Okay, thank you.
I have an additional question. Have you had conversation with GDOT about traffic on South Parkway?
I have, mostly about the potential for an intersection, because they won't let us have our own driveway. But if somebody, and this is a big ticket item, I think the community would like it, a full-on connection, just like, Highway 92, a full crossing that goes from Jones Road down to the highway and then crosses over, and even on the south side to connect there, which is not in South Fulton. But that project is, even if everyone at GDOT said, let's do it, it's 10 years away, because it has to be budgeted, get into their capital improvements program, contracted. They'd have to do it wouldn't be on our property. The crossing that they've been looking at is a little further to the north, to the right, so I call it northeast. But it's not on this property, although I think it's right next door. It kind of goes along the lowlands there on the neighboring property.
Okay, thank you. Does the resident, staff, anyone have any additional questions?
If I may add one more comment. It seemed like a very uphill battle. To be honest about it, in the next 7 years, we'll probably have a lot of people moving out of South Fulton in that district. In District 4, it's already overpopulated. Infrastructure is not the best, and if we build more residential, it's going to be a true hazard getting out and going to work. And then the development needs are not in District 4, period. And that's why a lot of people getting ready to leave. And if I may say honestly, in 10 years, we will lose this city, and the city will be the fastest downward spiral if we don't develop correctly and really get the community involved. I like what you got going on over in Dawson. That is a good area that is for that building. I agree with all of that. That is a perfect area, and to have an infrastructure to accommodate, like I said, connecting the old Fairburn Road. That is good residential, and more people want to downsize. And then in that area, that more people at 60-some years of age, so they want that type of living. But I'm for the right things, but I can see how this would be a hazard, and it would expeditiously drive people out of their community because of that. They would go ahead and start getting the equity out their homes because it's just going to make it more clustered.
Thank you so much. Mr. Rothman, can you speak to your public participation, date and time?
We are planning, I don't think we've tried to reserve it. I don't know that it's locked down, but our plan is at Elegant Occasions on June 3rd. So that's right now what the plan is, and getting the mailing out for that.
Thank you. And then for the folks that are watching on YouTube or in the audience, again, you should be receiving a letter to notify you on when that public participation will be, just in case those dates may change from what the applicants have mentioned. So please make sure you check your mail. I did forget to introduce myself. I am Adriana. I am one of the planners on staff. We also have Reginald McClendon. He's our managing director. We have our planning and zone administrator, Matthew Williams. They get my name wrong all the time. It's okay. And then we have our senior planner, Ms. Karen Tomney, and then we have Alani Joseph, our planner as well, that is outside to help check you in. Again, thank you so much for attending.
Absolutely. So the city is currently transferring over or getting a new process in for our finance department. So that has hindered our ability to correctly invoice and have people pay. So we do appreciate our applicants' patience in getting those invoices back and getting them paid. We're not sure the timeline that the city will have to get that system or the kinks worked out, but we are in the midst of transitioning over from one payment system to another. So that's why there has been some delays in invoicing and also in paying. So we appreciate everyone's patience. Yes, and that may cause a delay in you getting your notification for the invoice and also the confirmation of payment. So again, we do appreciate your patience.
Alrighty, feel free to take this time to mix and mingle with the applicants and with the residents. Again, feel free to ask any additional questions that you may have not gotten answered during the meeting. Thank you.